Good afternoon. Today our guest is Ashot Ginosyan, a lawyer qualified in Armenia and the UK, who is also a senior lawyer at Aegis Partners law firm. Good afternoon, Ashot.
Good afternoon.
And thank you for your today's talk. Today we are going to talk in short about for opening a business and getting a residence permit in Armenia. So could you please describe the steps for opening a business and getting residence permit in Armenia?
Well, thank you for the question. Actually, the law on foreigners of the Republic of Armenia provides us several grounds for obtaining a residence permit in Armenia. And running a business in Armenia is one of these grounds.
So, and does a foreigner need a residence permit to start a business in Armenia?
No, actually, I have to say that it's not required to have a residence permit in order to start a business in Armenia, but rather contrary, a residence permit is given on the basis of running a business in Armenia.
Okay, and what should one do in order to start a business?
Well, actually, I have to say that we have the law, the Civil Code of the Republic of Armenia, if I'm not mistaken, that's Article 26, which provides some options. The first option is establishment of commercial organizations or investing shares in those organizations. And the second option is registration as a sole trader, so in other words, registration as a private entrepreneur. In both cases, the organizations and entrepreneurs have to be registered at the State Registry Agency of the Ministry of Justice of the Republic of Armenia. Just in short, I want to describe the differences between these two forms. In case of the LLC members are not responsible for the liabilities of the LLC. It's rather LLC which is responsible for its own liabilities by its own assets. While in case of the private entrepreneur is responsible by his or her own assets for the liabilities that have been incurred during the business activity. And for the PE, there is a very small state duty for the registration, that's 3,000 AMD. While for the LLC opening, there is no state duty, like in other words, free of charge.
And what kind of documents needs to be presented for the registration of the PE and the LLC in Armenia? And please describe each separately.
For the PE option, for the registration as a private entrepreneur, one needs to present a simple application, also the receipt of the state duty, which is, as I said, is 3,000 AMD, and registration is done immediately. So there is no time frame.
3,000 AMD, it's around $7, yeah?
Yeah, that should be. And for the LLC option, the following documents need to be presented. First, an application, a simple application, decision of the founders of the company, which is basically a decision on the establishment of company, which needs to be signed by all founding members of the LLC. The charter of the legal entity, or the charter of the company, which again needs to be approved by the founder or the founding assembly of the company. An information about the director of the company, so basically who is the director of the company, passport number, social security number, an official announcement about the true beneficiaries of the company. So who would be the true beneficiary of the company? Passports of the foreign nationals, which have to be translated into Armenian and get notarized. That's something required by law. And finally, a power of attorney if it's done by representation.
Okay, and what about time frames?
It's normally it's done within 2 working days.
Okay, and how can the person show that he or she is running a business?
There is no explicit list, but I have to say that there are a number of various ways, as to how you can demonstrate that you are running a genuine business in Armenia. A certificate of registration, so a certificate of registration of the private entrepreneur, or the certificate of the registration of the company, the charter of the organization. Those documents can be presented to the passport and visa department of the police office of the Republic of Armenia, but sometimes it's not enough, because sometimes you really need to show that you are doing the business. So it can be demonstrated, let's say, by submitting tax reports that or some contracts that you have provided some services, or you bought some goods and services. So basically, a true genuine business activity. That should be. I think that's it.
That's a full yes. And what documents are needed for the residence permit?
Well, the documents are the following. Again, an application, 3 color passport photos, passports, and the receipt of the state duty payment, which is 105,000 AMD. It should be around
yes, $200.
$200,
yes.
I think. At present time, it should be around $200. And a health certificate, obviously, and some documents to show that you are running the business. So we have talked about it in our previous question. Yeah, that's all.
But and the passport, yes.
Yeah, in terms of passports, I have to say that passport copies are not enough. If not originals, then passport copies needs to be translated into Armenian and again get notarized, and then only submitted to the.
Okay, and how long does it take?
Well, normally the law says that the reviewal of the application should take 30 working days. 30 days. But normally it could take a bit longer, depending on the fact whether or not the passport and visa department wants to check the activity of the business. So to be sure that the business is genuine. Sometimes they carry out checks, visits to check
yes.
And I have to say that sometimes passport and visa department can also send some questions, some inquiries to the government agencies and other organizations, information just to check whether the business is genuine or not.
Okay, thank you, Ashot. We came to an end for today. I think another good topic would be to talk with you about Armenia's tax law and tax benefits and reliefs.
Definitely, I agree with you that a very good topic would be to have a short talk about Armenia's tax law and tax legislation, and particularly we will talk about the tax benefits, because obviously when foreigners or even locals are engaging in business activities, they are also interested in tax reliefs and tax benefits. They also want to know what are the tax benefits for their profitability and for their business growth. And I thank you for today's talk. Hope to see you again.